The public noticed. The public noticed that things were weird and things began to backfire on you, okay? They are being so wildly manipulative and dishonest as they have been since the beginning of this entire process.
Something weird is going on with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. For years, they've been Hollywood's golden couple, always supporting each other, always in sync. But now, something feels off. Blake's career is suddenly hitting roadblocks, and instead of standing by her, Ryan seems to be quietly pulling away. At first, people thought he was just staying out of the drama. But when you start looking at the timing of his recent business moves, the way Blake is slowly disappearing from his projects, and the fact that he hasn't defended her once, it starts to look like something much worse. Some people think he's just protecting his own career. Others believe he's actually working against her. So is Ryan Reynolds sabotaging Blake Lively behind the scenes? And if he is, why? Let's break it all down.
They're both narcissists. Why do you lie like this, Blake? Why? Why do you do this? Do you understand? You are not smarter than the internet.
Here's the thing about Ryan Reynolds. He's never been the type to stay quiet. This is a guy who jokes about everything. He trolls his friends, he responds to headlines, he even makes fun of himself. But the moment Blake's legal battle with Justin Baldoni made headlines, nothing, not a single comment. Not even a vague joke or a cryptic tweet. Just silence. And that's not normal for him. What makes it even weirder is that just a few months ago, Blake was heavily involved in his projects. She was attached to production deals, her name was showing up on brand partnerships, then suddenly, it all just disappeared. And this isn't some conspiracy theory. If you look at the timeline, you can actually see the shift. First, Blake was supposedly tied to a major film project Ryan was producing. Then, without any official explanation, she was quietly removed. Then there was the brand deal she was negotiating, one that could have been a massive opportunity for her. But right after Ryan announced his own competing business venture, that deal fell through. I mean, come on. You're telling me that's just a coincidence? It's like Ryan is erasing Blake's influence from his career while building up his own empire. And if that's really what's happening, the question is, why?
We always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. This is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list.
Oh.
I don't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, oh, think of someone. Think of someone. Bob Newhart. I don't know.
Let's be honest. Hollywood relationships don't last forever. We've seen this happen over and over again. The moment one half of a power couple becomes a liability, the other person starts pulling away. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. Could Ryan and Blake be next? Some people think Ryan is deliberately avoiding Blake's controversies because he wants to protect his own career. And honestly, that would make sense. Think about it. When was the last time you saw Ryan and Blake out together, like they used to be? It's been months. Their social media interactions have dropped, which is weird because they used to be all over each other's posts. And lately, Ryan has been making more solo business moves, signing deals, expanding his brand, all without Blake. If he was fully committed to standing by her, wouldn't he be publicly supporting her? Or at the very least, wouldn't he still be including her in his business empire? Instead, it feels like he's strategically setting up his future without her. And if that's true, he might not be doing it alone. Because Hugh Jackman's name just entered the conversation.
So it's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have 2 other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Yeah. Does she play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of pretends to play with her. So in the beginning, our oldest is loving on her, and she's very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
Here's something that's been completely overlooked in all of this. Ryan Reynolds has been getting closer to Hollywood's elite power players over the past year. Look at who he's been associating with lately. He's been spending more time with billionaire investors, high-profile directors, and major media executives. Even his recent brand expansions, like his stake in sports teams, liquor companies, and tech startups, have put him in rooms way beyond just the entertainment industry. And you know what's interesting? Blake hasn't been included in any of it. It's almost like Ryan is making a calculated move to level up his connections while slowly stepping away from his Hollywood power couple image with Blake. And honestly, if Ryan sees himself on track to become more than just an actor, he might see Blake as part of his old Hollywood identity, one that he's ready to move on from. The truth is, Hollywood's most powerful people don't always want their spouses involved in their business. If Ryan is positioning himself to be a media mogul, then keeping Blake in the mix might not fit his long-term goals. And if that's the case, this isn't just about distancing himself, it's about completely redefining his future.
I don't know how her professional and personal life was altered. It didn't look that way to me when she was posing on the red carpet with her husband and mocking the situation, but let's go with it.
Something about this whole situation just doesn't sit right. Blake Lively's legal battle, her career struggles, her fading presence in Hollywood, it's all happening right in front of us. And yet, the mainstream media is barely covering it. Why? Hollywood scandals usually explode across the media. The second a celebrity gets caught in legal drama or career struggles, it's everywhere. Talk shows, news outlets, gossip blogs. But this time, it's been oddly quiet. Some people believe that Ryan's PR team is working overtime behind the scenes to control the narrative. Think about it, Ryan Reynolds is one of Hollywood's most marketable stars. He has deals with major companies, studios, and global brands. If the media starts digging too deep into this Blake Lively situation, it could hurt his reputation. And if Ryan's PR team has enough influence to keep things quiet, that's even more proof that he's got way more power in Hollywood than we think. Because let's be honest, if this was happening to any other celebrity couple, the media would be all over it. So is Ryan using his influence to bury the story before it gets worse? Or is this just the calm before the storm?
The reason why she's setting this up is she says, now I have to take steps to protect innocent bystanders rather than exposing them to further harm, because she's now using this to explain away why no one's joining in on her lawsuit. Okay, they're setting that up right at the beginning. They're essentially, no one's going to join in, but just so you know, this is to protect them.
Here's where things get really weird. While Ryan has been silent about Blake, he's been more active than ever online, with Hugh Jackman. It's almost like he's trying to distract people, keeping up his usual lighthearted, fun persona so that no one questions why he isn't talking about Blake's downfall. So what does Hugh know? It wouldn't be the first time a Hollywood insider protected a friend during a messy breakup. If Ryan has been venting to Hugh about Blake, it's possible that Hugh knows exactly what's going on but is staying out of it. And honestly, that wouldn't be surprising. When high-profile couples start falling apart, their inner circle always knows before the public does. And with the way Ryan is moving lately, it really looks like he's setting up an exit strategy.
So it's unbelievable. They are being so wildly manipulative and dishonest as they have been since the beginning of this entire process that they are literally mining clips on the internet, taking them out of context so that they can produce a narrative that reads like a script to us.
The biggest reason people think Ryan might be pushing Blake out of his career? His recent business deals. Now, Ryan has always been a smart businessman. He's not just a Hollywood actor. He's built an entire empire with Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, Wrexham FC, and multiple production ventures. But lately, his business moves seem to be benefiting only him, while Blake is being left out. Let's talk about that production deal. Blake was supposedly attached to one of Ryan's upcoming projects, something that could have been a huge opportunity for her career. But out of nowhere, her involvement quietly disappeared. No announcement, no explanation, just gone. Then there's the brand deal. Blake had been in talks for a major endorsement partnership, a deal that could have been her next big step in expanding her own business empire. But right after Ryan announced a competing venture, her deal mysteriously fell apart. That's two huge opportunities that Blake lost, and in both cases, Ryan seemed to come out ahead. And here's the weirdest part, Ryan has been signing more solo business contracts than ever before. He's been meeting with high-level executives, attending closed-door industry events, and making major career moves, all without Blake in sight. For years, Ryan and Blake worked as a unit. Their brand as a couple was strong, and they often supported each other's projects. But suddenly, he's operating like a man on his own. So what's really going on? Is this just Hollywood business as usual? Or is Ryan intentionally making moves that separate him from Blake's declining career? Because from the outside, it looks like he's restructuring his professional life in a way that ensures he's fine, no matter what happens to her. And if that's the case, we might already be seeing the beginning of the end.
So who was it, Blake, that led the mass unfollow of Baldoni that created the crisis situation in the first place? Who was it, Blake, who, despite you saying you got everything you wanted, made the decision that you guys could not do?
The context of that exchange shows that they're out there combating lies.
It's crazy to think about, but Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively might not be as solid as everyone assumed. Hollywood couples break up all the time, and usually, the public doesn't realize it until it's already over. Look at Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Look at Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. Look at Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Before things officially fell apart, they all had one thing in common. One person's career started to suffer, and the other started quietly pulling away. If Blake's reputation keeps getting worse, Ryan might feel forced to distance himself. And honestly, it already looks like he's doing that. If the next few months go by and Ryan still doesn't speak up or acknowledge the controversy, then I think we'll have our answer. We could be watching one of Hollywood's most beloved couples fall apart right in front of our eyes. Final thoughts. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively always seemed like the perfect Hollywood couple. But with Blake's career spiraling downward, Ryan's behavior has been raising too many questions. The silence, the business moves, the growing distance, it's all pointing to something bigger happening behind the scenes. So is Ryan Reynolds really sabotaging Blake Lively's career? Or is this all just a coincidence? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you stayed till the end, comment breakup. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to me, and ring the bell so you will be first to know about newest drama.